Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
So, I wore a hat to work today just so I could tip it to our baseball team, our World Series-bound, pennant-winning baseball team. So let's all say it again. Let's freaking party! Folks, the 2023 Diamondbacks, they're more than a great story. They are a civic jackpot. They are the lottery ball payoff we rarely get in Arizona. I mean, who are we? We're the city that redefined injustice and heartbreak. We're a basketball town that squandered a 2-0 lead in the 2021 NBA Finals, that couldn't win a home game in the 1993 NBA Finals, the city that couldn't hold a lead in the Super Bowl, and a city that has kneecapped our hopes and dreams, housing some of the worst ownership dysfunction you could ever imagine, but not anymore. The Diamondbacks eliminated 3 teams that had combined for 282 victories. They won 6 of 8 road games. They reached the World Series after playing only 4 games at Chase Field. So many sports teams talk about shocking the world, but the Diamondbacks just did. They're young and fearless. They won 2 straight games in the crucible of South Philly, in the most hostile hot box in baseball. And if I would have told you that sweeping the hated Dodgers might rank 3rd on their list of postseason accomplishments, you would have put me in a straitjacket. So props to the Diamondbacks and all the Valley fans who made this triumph so rich, who filled this story with stardust and fireworks. This is a franchise that has been a distant 3rd on the Valley pecking order for 20 plus years. A franchise that might win a 2nd title before the other big 3 get their first, effectively telling the Cardinals and the Suns to hold their beer. They don't need it anyway. These days, they're too busy guzzling champagne. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
And a ground ball back off the pitcher's glove. Deflects to Kim. Steps on second. This one's over. And the Padres won it 10-5.
Why am I playing that? 10-5. That was August 11th. Greg Schultz on the final call. That was the Diamondbacks' 9th straight loss to start August. They had fallen to 57 and 59. And you talked about them being a distant 3rd in your blast.
Mm-hmm.
They were squarely in 3rd place in the National League West at that time. And the reason why I play that is Paul Sewald, on a podcast appearance during the course of the National League Championship Series, was asked by the host, it was the Foul Territory podcast with A.J. Przinsky, was asked during the podcast, hey, Torey Lovullo made something, like there's an inside joke between you and him when you're going into games and whatnot, and what is it all about? And Torey said, I'll keep that between us. Paul Sewald says, I don't know why he kept it secret. He said after that game, we had just lost to the Dodgers 2 games. We got worked by the Padres. And he said that Torey Lovullo addressed the team in the locker room and said, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of being the junior varsity team for the National League West. And that's when the turnaround started. That's when they righted the ship, because there was that stretch, and we talked about it in real time. We've talked about it afterwards. 7-25 over 32 games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find teams that overcome that even to make the playoffs, let alone win a pennant and play for a World Series title.
Listen, 25 of 30, they lost 25 of 32 games in the span of 42 days. So for basically 6 weeks, they were a garbage baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot that locked it in, but I do think the main thing is what you said earlier, the ability to kind of on the fly reconfigure that bullpen and turn it into something that went from a big minus to a big plus practically overnight. And that to me was one of many things that kind of occurred. Talked about it yesterday. There was a time when this baseball franchise was determined to kind of force Carson Kelly back into the C1 role, starting catcher role. And I don't blame them. They had to realize, do we have a future with this guy? Are we going to give this guy another deal? What do we have with Carson Kelly? And they all kind of realized how important this Gabriel Moreno kid was. And he that kid just kept growing and growing and growing. And then Ketel Marte to have a 16-game postseason hitting streak. right?
He's never played a postseason game without getting a hit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And especially how he looked in his first 3 at-bats last night. Struck out 3 times.
Yeah.
And how about Corbin Carroll having a really, really disappointing series until Game 7 and then having a historical game?
Yeah. Yeah, and so it was really, it was quite a revelation. And, I understand that all across sports, the idea of home field advantage is under scrutiny. People in the NFL wonder, is this even a big deal anymore? Road teams in the baseball playoffs, 22-14 this year. Home teams facing elimination, 0-5. So you're a home team, and you're taking solace in defending your season and your turf at home. You're not winning.
How's that working out for you?
It's not. But I don't want that to kind of marginalize or mitigate winning a couple of games in South Philly, because I'm going to repeat this. In the post-game victory celebration, they gather on the baseball field and they present the National League Championship trophy to all the principals. So Ken Kendrick was there, Derek Hall was there, Mike Hazen was part of it, the whole team is there, and of course Torey Lovella was there. And so while they're talking and while they're asking questions and giving answers, the crowd, you could hear this thick, angry buzz in the background, and you could hear people start to boo, but not really, because they realized we don't want to boo them. We want to boo our own. We want to boo the Philly. Get that baseball team back out on the field so we can boo them. This is not a stretch because, like I say repeatedly, I've got a couple of very close friends who are huge. They're Philly guys from Philly, huge Philly sports fans. They're all AWOL today, but they're both just beside themselves because this baseball team that they absolutely adored has just broken their hearts. They are now a disgrace to the city of Philly. One of my Philly fans used that word. They are a disgrace to the city of Philly. That is unbelievable, but it's really something we experienced with the Suns 2 years ago. A basketball team we absolutely loved until we hated them for what they did against the Mavericks in Game 7.
So you're saying
true.
2 years from now, Bryce Harper is going to be the only player on the Phillies from this team?
That is such an apt comparison.
Same thing.
Because, going to the finals and squandering a 2-0 lead to the Bucks, it hurt, not going to lie. But there was still so much to feel great about. There was a palpable anger that whole offseason with what happened with the Suns squandering that lead against the Mavericks, that inexplicable Game 7 failure.
Yeah.
That's the way Philly fans are going to feel. They were up 2-0 on a team that they don't believe. They don't believe the Diamondbacks are even worthy of playing on the same field as the Philadelphia
Phillies. You know how
Phillies.
happy they were that they were playing the D-backs and not the Dodgers?
Yes,
They thought they were going
absolutely.
to waltz into the World Series.
They did. And for this thing to be 2-zip and to turn this on them, I can't even imagine what Philly radio sounds like this morning.
Imagine.
I might tune in later
Just
today
for that.
just for giggles.
Just to serve your pettiness.
Yeah.
Forget being up 2-0. When they won Game 5 in Arizona, the Phillies, I'm sure they were already planning buying World Series tickets.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we just have to win 1 out of 2 at home now.
Yeah.
Against these losers that can't beat us at home.
Well, Vinny was right. After that Game 5, the Phillies kind of gave off this vibe like, okay, that was cute, but the fun's over.
Yeah.
We took our eye off the ball for a minute, but now everything's restored.
Fun was
they
just
Go to
got back to
sleep,
slugging the
Arizona.
ball.
Keep doing the wave, Arizona.
Exactly.
You're cute.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Bick, a Philly Tribune reporter did instant reactions with fans after the game last night, leaving the stadium. Many of them said they would like to lie down in traffic. Many of them said trade Bryce Harper.
Oh, boy.
And a lot of words that I cannot use on this here radio
Sent
station.
that link. I can't wait to
And how about the
There's a
consume
lot
some
of
that.
not safe for work language in there.
And how about the possibility of Greg Schultz getting from the Diamondbacks what the Suns could not give Al McCoy?
It's crazy, isn't it? I thought about that too. The governor just keeps on going.